Hi, welcome back to my channel, Moving with Dee. I'm Krystal B and in today's video, I'm going to share a little bit of information about how I went about creating my world, or anything, the setting of my first book. So if that's something of interest to you, stick around. All right, so this is really exciting. So I think I was gonna do this and I'm gonna break it up in parts of how I do this because it'll go forever. So we'll talk about a little bit today on the setting. How did I come up with my fantasy world? What did I want it to be? How did I want it to kind of set up? And I think in the beginning, I didn't really have a true picture in mind, if you will. I had an idea of where I wanted to go, and this is kind of some influences that I had just of my personality and the kind of interest that I have just in general. So I'm a huge gamer, so I play a lot of first-person shooter games, story mode games, fighting games like Mortal Kombat and all that kind of stuff. And I'm also a huge Marvel fan. Not so much the DC, don't trip up on me on that, but I have collected cards for over years, and I just know the story of like all these different characters. And what's really consistent across all of those mediums or all those genres is multidimensionality. Okay, so that's one of the things that I started to add into my book, because I like that. I like that aspect of people being able to live beyond this world and move to the next, or people having contact, if you will, between the different dimensions, right? So that was one of the pieces of the setting. The next one I have on here is I wanted to represent cultures in my book and how different societies are built around these particular principles, and you'll get to this when you get into the book. But they're based on their terrain and where they live, some of the things that they kind of like, the principles or the codes that they live by, the things that they deem very life-giving, spiritual wise. They kind of build their culture and their society around that. And in this book, a lot of the activity really happens in this one place, with just little pops of windows, if you will, in other areas. But in this particular place, the setting, I don't really describe it much. I just realized that I don't really describe it a lot in the book, but it is, if you could think of the Egyptian culture when it was flourishing. So if you look at Africa now, or even Egypt now, it's kind of, it seems very desolate, right? It's very deserty, sandy, drought, famine. It looks like that. But in the days of its height and in its wealth of everything, it was bountiful. Okay, it was full of life, teeming with life. There was no such thing really of drought or anything like that. So it was tons of trees and all of these things. So this is kind of that, right? So I'm bringing Egypt into this world, into this particular culture, in this particular society that I'm talking about majorly happening here. Now, as you travel on into other spaces, you will see that it's built up differently there, because it's going to represent a different type of culture that we know of in today's society. So I wanted to relate that together, but I wanted to bring a little bit of that razzle dazzle, because I think I couldn't just settle on one. Like, you know how with medieval, I couldn't just make it European. And every fantasy book was just so European driven. And I was like, absolutely not. So what I did was I brought in like Samoan culture is in there. Let's see, what else is in there? Arabian, Muslim culture, even the Viking culture. Native American culture, the African culture. So all of them are here. Trust me, they're here and they're prevalent, and you can see it. I'll do that when I describe the characters, and I'll do that a little bit again when I describe the different traditions and customs and style of dress, right? So I'll go through all of that, but that's in another video. We're going to stick with setting. And then the last one I'm going to tell you about is going to be supernatural. Why did I go into the supernatural way? Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to have to wait on the next video for that. Alright, so if you have enjoyed this video, definitely throw up a like, hit that subscribe button, follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you can find me at. The links are in the episode description. Leave a comment, folks. I want to hear back from you. Let's get it. We can do this. Alright, but that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.